Stephanie from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, May 22nd. So welcome to Monday, or Moon Day, as it was also referred to many, many moons ago. And having the moon in Cancer in its place of power on a Monday definitely sends the message that we have some emotional processing to go through. We have some aha moments, some epiphanies to arrive at that will likely have to do with the changing of the foundations in our lives, especially with how it is that we need to boss up and start taking care of ourselves. Of course, this is the first full day in Gemini season, so we definitely have that particular energy to adjust to, but also keep in mind, we're still very much under the influence of that new moon in Taurus and Mars, who just moved into that Leo energy. Again, if you haven't listened to the ascension forecast for this week, I'm going to recommend you do so that you'll understand why we have to hurry up and slow down, why it is that we have to be patient yet push. And again, this week is kind of allowing us a little bit of an opportunity to get in alignment, to get our mind right. We will definitely be seeing an acceleration of events, of energies, of actions as we move into June. But of course, we're not there yet. We still have a full week of this last May energy to actually kind of get under our belt. And again, if you need a reminder on what May was meant to teach you, go ahead, go back, go listen to the May's energy forecast. I'm going to rattle all the things off. Listen to that May energy forecast. Download your zodiac forecast, which is now 50% off. Download the moon guide, which you should have had already. And download the Gemini e-season e-guide, which will help you kind of align with each of the astro events that will be unfolding in Gemini season. Of course, we get off to a little bit of a slow start. We will dive into that very active energy come June. So this is a time to really align, to really recalibrate, and to get our mind right. So with 11 different aspects here today, 8 of them involving the moon, we're definitely going to see an overabundance on our emotional realm. The other aspects at play are definitely going to give us some highlights, some peak, I'm going to say focuses, but mostly we are here to do the emotional processing to get in alignment with this new headspace that, of course, Gemini season has brought to us. So right out of the gate, we are going to have the moon in Cancer make a very positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, in this Aries energy. So this is kind of speaking very highly of where it is that we're really coming into our own. We're coming into a new version of ourselves. Of course, that Chiron energy, being the wounded healer in this Aries energy, is about our egoic identity. The moon in Cancer definitely kind of fine-tuning us to where it is that we are kind of breaking the connections, the cords to the past, in order for us to boss up to new roles, new responsibilities that, of course, have us in a new version of ourselves. This is highly suggestive of growth, of healing, of focus, of intent on where it is that we want to improve, we want to do better, and we really want to anchor in this new version of ourselves. The moon then interacts with the sun, and of course, anytime we have the moon, our heart space, and the sun, our ego selves, making any kind of interaction, there is this overlap between what we're leaving behind and what it is that we're moving closer to. Now, the moon in Cancer still has us kind of emotionally detached to some of the elements of the past that we haven't loosened our grip entirely off of as of yet. But at the same time, the sun shining a bright light now in this Gemini energy is showing us the choices, the options, the decision, the path, the direction that, of course, are very extreme, very dualistic, very polarized in their opportunities. The Gemini energy, again, gives us those two very different points of view because it is represented by the twins. It is the dualistic sign that we have to work very hard to bring those extremes into a happy medium. So emotionally speaking, yeah, we're still kind of stuck in the past, even though this new version of ourselves is trying to emerge. and the sun shining a bright light on the options, on the opportunities, which of course puts us in a very interesting position in the here and now in order to choose whether or not we're going to stick with the same old that the moon in Cancer has us feeling very, very comfortable with, or are we going to experiment? Are we going to branch out? Are we going to try something new? The sun and Gemini energy really tempting us to kind of dip our toe, if you will, in some foreign waters. The moon in Cancer will make an interaction with Mars. Mars, of course, just left this Cancer energy, thank goodness. Mars in Leo energy right now, just vibrating, just rearing to go. Why? Well, because we're in a fire sign that Mars works very well in. The Leo energy has us expressing ourselves at its fullest capacity, especially where our unique individual skills and talents are concerned, where creativity is concerned, where our ego self is concerned. But we're not able to get up, to get started, to take a straightforward, assertive approach in the which way we would absolutely prefer with this Mars and Leo energy. Because again, we're in a time period right now where we have to hurry up and stand still. And so there is this alignment going on in our inner realms that is very needed. We have to get our heart and our head on the same page. We have to be in agreement with ourselves before we can engage the physical body that Mars rules over to really go after a new mission, a new purpose, a new path, a new direction, and of course, express ourselves, our individual identity to its fullest with pride, with boldness, with courage, with bravery, like that Leo energy wants us to do. So instead, what we have to do is learn to kind of percolate inside of ourselves. We have to sit with the inspiration, really remind ourselves of the dream, of the passion, of the goal, of the desire, and understand that we have to formulate a plan. We have to be strategic. We have to think about what it is that we're focused on doing before we actually are gifted with the green light go ahead to take action and to actually bring those elements into fruition. The moon in Cancer will sextile beautiful energy with Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, who is fresh in this Taurus energy. So this works very well for us for a couple of reasons. First of all, the Cancer energy, the Taurus energy, very concentrated on presence in the here and now, and if anything, reflective on the past more so than the future. Yes, the Jupiter energy is here to push us out of our comfort zones, out of the parameters in which we have built in our physical circumstances. We do have a year to kind of get going and get growing on what it is that we're building, creating, what it is that we're bringing to life, of course, in our physical realms, in order to get back to being happy and enjoying life's little luxuries and the little pleasures and the creature comforts. Right now, though, this particular interaction is magnifying where it is that we need to take action in the here and now with the small little things in our day-to-day to support ourselves in feeling safe and secure and stable and happy and joyful just by focusing in on the little things. Yes, that Jupiter energy wants us to grow, wants to magnify, turn the volume all the way up on the opportunities that we are going to have in moving forward. But right now, we just need to stay in the here and now. We need to stay present. We need to do what we can in order to make ourselves feel good. The sun in Gemini energy will be sextiling, which is a beautiful energy, with Mars, who is in Leo energy. So they are both fresh in their new respective energies. Let's just get that very clear. The sun sextiling Mars is going to ignite a lot of passion, okay? This is where new passions, new desires, new excitement is coming in. But we do get a little bit jittery because, again, Mars just wants to go, and we're not really allowed to go yet, if you will. There's not even any sliver of the moon in the night sky, which means that, you know, we're still sitting in the darkness. We're still not really being supported in growing. When the moon grows, we can grow too. We're just not there yet. So what we have to do is kind of sit with ourselves and get ourselves kind of all riled up, if you will, get ourselves excited, get ourselves passionate, focus on what it is that we want to explore, what it is that we have to research in order to make a confirming and validating decision on a path, on a direction, on a decision, on a choice moving forward. But it's going to be very hard because there is a lot of, well, let's look at it this way. What happens when you add oxygen to fire? well, that fire gets bigger. And that's exactly what we're doing with the sun in Gemini and Mars in Leo. That is air and fire. So we have to balance that out so we don't burn ourselves out. Again, key topic and theme with Mars being in Leo energy is that we don't burn ourselves out long before we ever reach a goal post. But this is the inner realm that we're trying to get all fired up and in alignment in preparation to actually engage the physical body to take action and to commit to a path, to a direction, to a decision, to a choice that we are currently on the fence about. So Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, who just kind of dethroned herself out of Taurus season. Again, we kind of handed that powerful baton and thrown over to Mercury, who is still kind of coming out of his unconscious state of retrograde. He'll kind of clear that post-shadow period June 1st. But we have Venus in this Cancer energy, which is, very sentimental, highly nostalgic, a little bit defensive. But we are getting back to our basic values, our basic needs, what it is that we need to feel safe and secure, what it is that we need to do to kind of save ourselves instead of sitting around waiting for somebody else to come and save us. Well, Venus in this Cancer energy is going to be making a beautiful aspect with the true node, the North Node in Taurus energy, which of course is the soul path, the mission, the direction that we need to get on in order for us to actually reach our soul's potential. So what we get with this interaction is some aha moments, some clarity on what it is that we need. Now, again, this is supposed to be a positive aha moment. However, the only way that we're able to arrive at what it is that we actually need to do for ourselves is recognizing what it is that isn't happening, that isn't feeling good, that we're lacking, if you will. And so that part might not be as fun or as favorable. However, we need to sit in the funk. We need to sit in that uncomfortability in order to figure out what a better alternative would be. And of course, this is a true indication that we are coming up with some alternatives that now we're feeling passionate, excited, and actually desire to pursue. The moon, shortly thereafter, sextiles the true node. So emotionally speaking, we're still in this Venus, Venus in Cancer energy brings one vibe to our heart chakra. Emotionally speaking, we're identifying, our needs as far as our physical realms go. The moon in Cancer is our emotional needs, our unconscious needs, if you will. So the moon sextiling the true node is giving us a little bit of an emotional growth, an allowance, if you will, in healing the aspects that were attached to the past, were attached to the old circumstance, were attached to the old version of self. We're letting that go. We understand that we have to free up our hands in order to put them out to receive the blessings from the universe that we're about to create for ourselves. But we can't do both. So there is this kind of epiphany where we're like, you know what? Okay, I feel like I've outgrown that. I feel like it's holding me back. I feel the attachment pulling me back into bad habits. I want to do better. I want to be better. So therefore, I am going to recognize my over-attachment and I'm going to work really hard to kind of detach myself from that, free up my hands to actually get creating something new, something better in its place. The moon in Cancer will semi-square, which isn't the nicest vibe, with Uranus, the great awakener himself in this Taurus energy for many moons now. This is going to bring a lot of confusion, but may I just remind you that confusion is necessary for this particular process of rebuilding. Confusion also comes right before clarity comes, and that we need to kind of pull back. We need to be a little bit more introverted, as if we weren't introverted enough with the moon in Cancer. We need to kind of pull back and get our vision right. So again, another indicator that this is a week, a time frame, a window of opportunity for us to get focused, for us to be very clear on the calculated moves within our strategy, within our plan that we're going to have to execute in order to bring a bigger, better version, a bigger, broader change to our physical realm. The moon will then trine, which is beautiful energy, with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over our roles and responsibilities, our structures, our foundations, who of course is in Pisces energy. This is what gives us our trine. This is water on water energy. So one thing we know about water energy, first of all, it's very emotional, highly intuitive, very, very perceptive. It is very healing, very transformative, very cleansing, very purifying. So what we get here normally when Saturn is involved is it brings us a little bit of a reality check, a little bit of a Debbie Downer situation, if you will. Not in this case. This case, we're actually very in the here and now. We're very present. We're very realistic in what it is that's going on in our current circumstances. And of course, the realistic goals and dreams and visions that we're trying to conjure up for ourselves. We're not kind of being bombarded with negative Nancy and fears and doubts and insecurities that sometimes happens in these particular energies. Instead, we're recognizing what it is that we're done with, what it is that we've outgrown, what it is that we're kind of watching collapse, what it is that is being deconstructed or dismantled, if you will, in order for us to build something better in its place. And of course, those particular changes that we are looking forward to seeing actually take place in our physical realms, they have to happen in our inner realms first and foremost. The sun in Gemini energy will interact with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings in this Taurus energy. So what this is going to provide us an opportunity for is to see the choice points again. Now, keep in mind, if you haven't listened to the astro forecast that I put out for Gemini season, I'm going to recommend you do that. If you downloaded your Gemini season e-guide already, you would know that the whole purpose of Gemini season is to offer us two very different choice points and for us to explore each choice point, each decision, each path, each direction in order for us to kind of find a common middle ground. So the sun is our life force energy in this Gemini energy, showing us the division, showing us the extreme choices, showing us the polarized, dualistic options that lay before us. Jupiter, of course, he wants to magnify everything. What he's kind of magnifying right now is our physical circumstances here in this Taurus energy. Why? Well, because it's the physical circumstances that we will see take as much growth and opportunity over this next year than anything else. So the sun shining on Jupiter's magnification of our physical realm is going to illuminate for us, A, where things aren't so happy, aren't feeling so good, B, where they're not so safe and secure, and C, where it is that we kind of have to get back to the basics, where things have become a little bit overwhelming, so to speak. And so this particular interaction is going to illuminate for us what the problems are so that we can fix it, where the disconnect is so that we can reattach it, where there is a gap so that we can fill it. So does this feel good? Well, it's not going to feel horrible, but there is an illumination right now on the lack of, on the scarcity of, so that we can understand where the problems exist, so we can get to working in that beautiful, brilliant mind of ours that Gemini energy is definitely triggering and activating in a new light for us to come up with solutions, for us to come up with a new path, for us to come up with a new opportunity to grow and build and heal and really kind of infuse our physical realms with all the things that we've been lacking. Lastly, we have the moon in Cancer, sextiling with Mercury. Mercury, of course, in his rulership over Gemini season, but still very much in Taurus energy, almost up to snuff, almost back to his regular 100% self. Again, we are still in the post-retrograde shadow period, which will clear out on June 1st. This is why I've been saying to you, if you can hold off for making decisions, for making major changes until at least the first week of June, June 11th would be primarily the best day to kind of set that goal for. By all means, I encourage you to do so. If you are positioned to make those decisions or make major life changes before that particular time frame, just expect there to be some back and forth, some re-edits, some revisions that are needed. There's a lot more bumps in the road if you kind of lock in a commitment, a timeline, if you lock in a decision in this particular time frame. So the moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. This is a sextile, which means that they're coming together. They're blending their energies. This is a very good vibe. First of all, the Taurus energy that Mercury is in, very focused on new ideas, new information, new details coming in that's going to help us reshape, rebuild, reform our physical realities, especially with the aspects that fell apart under the retrograde energy. The moon in Cancer energy has us focused on the basic needs, especially emotionally. So here we have a major focus, our mental plane focus, on our physical realms, on our physical circumstances, on what is not working, on what we need to rebuild and what we need to heal. And emotionally speaking, we are down to the nitty-gritty, focused on our basic needs in order to make us feel safe and secure, not only within our emotional selves, but within our physical realms as well. So these guys are working together. Our heart and our head are on the same page in order to not only identify what isn't working, but to also conjure up new ideas, new visions, new dreams on what it is that we can build in the place of the things that are currently crumbling.